it was all like a mind game with me. That's where I got my kicks, I guess.
Why did you pick these folks?
I didn't. It was just random. I'm willing to talk about the rest of it if I get a cigar.
I would kill again.
You're dead. I'm alive.
I don't think it was wrong.
The thing inside of me, it's like the appetite. It's like a wolf that's feeling the hunger.
On Wednesday, coffee house worker Samantha Koenig had been working the night shift and was scheduled to close around 8 p.m. Police say they believe a stranger took Koenig and now need your help finding her. Federal prosecutors say 34-year-old Israel Keys, an Army veteran and self-employed contractor, stole a debit card from the coffeehouse worker.
Morning, Israel. Morning. How you doing? Some better days, all right?
I'm not in this for the glory. I'm not in this for media attention. I give you information. If I feel like things don't work out at any point, then, you know, obviously then I'm not going to be giving you more information.
He clearly knows that he has, in part, an upper hand. He's playing cat and mouse in the interview. He's being in charge. He's leading the interview.
Anchorage was, I knew better. You know, I was telling myself the whole time I was doing it, it was a bad idea. You don't do things near where you live.
Israel Keys entered the Common Ground coffee kiosk just a few minutes before 8 o'clock closing. He bound Samantha Koenig inside the kiosk. In the shed is where he sexually assaulted and killed Samantha Koenig.
Keys then dismembered her body and dumped her remains in Matanuska Lake.
I've known since I was 14 that there were things that that I thought were normal and that were okay that nobody else seems to think are normal and okay.
Yeah. How many other of these weapons caches do you have?
If I tell you that, I'll never be able to use them again.
I thought you told us you kind of had resigned yourself to that, huh?
I don't know, maybe the apocalypse will hit. Come on, everybody loves buried treasure.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about those things that I know you're eventually going to connect me to unless I know that I'm going to get what I want. I want an execution date. I want this whole thing done in a year.
I thought that was the ultimate way he was going to exert control. He wanted to make sure he could determine how his life was going to end because he wasn't going to end up living in prison for years.
Tell me how we can start.
All right. I can give you... I'll give you 2 bodies and a name. But I'm not going to give you the rest.
Can you give us an idea of what region?
Burlington, Vermont.
Authorities say 49-year-old Bill Currier and his wife, 55-year-old Lorraine Currier, have been missing from their Vermont home for nearly a week now.
As far as the Curriers, you told me that it was random how you picked them out. There wasn't a reason.
Well, it was... I didn't know them. I started walking around town at about 8 or 9 o'clock after it got dark. I decided I was going to look for a house with a couple in it. I cut the phone lines as soon as I picked the house because usually if there's an alarm system, it'll trigger the alarm. I had my headlamp on. I was probably in the bedroom within 5 or 6 seconds from the time the glass broke. People never expect stuff to happen to them.
Do you remember what you told them?
It was like a blitz attack. You just make sure they know right away who's in charge. Got their hands and their feet together with cable ties. They started trying to talk to me and stuff, and
Try to personalize it.
yeah. And I would go along with it a little bit.
What'd you tell them?
I just told them a story that I thought was somewhat believable so they wouldn't freak out.
Israel Keys used his own manipulative tendencies actually to make the husband think that he actually cared.
The plan was I was going to rape her and, he was going to be involved too. My plan was to take him into the basement, tie him up separate, and then take her upstairs. Walked him down there and cable tied his hands down to the stool so he couldn't stand up. Well, it must have taken me longer than I thought because I came out of the basement and she was standing right there by the car. She had somehow broke the cable ties on her hands and on her feet and got out of the car. She was almost to the road when I came out of the basement. And she saw me come out and she started running and I tackled her on the lawn and I roughed her up a little bit and tied her back up. He was kind of a big guy, like overweight, and the stool had just collapsed. And I guess when it collapsed, the cable ties that I had on his wrist behind his back, they had broke. I just messed my whole plan up. So I was kind of pissed off about that, and I was like, just let us go. And I just kind of laughed at him. I was like, you don't even know how much planning I put into this, and just walk away.
They're just objects. They are toys for his mind to complete a fantasy that he's planned. All of those human appeals, they make no difference.
And he started to say something, and it just pissed me off, and I just started pulling the trigger. I had her tied up a couple different ways, and I guess you could call it like the fantasy that developed over the years. It seems like I got more into the tying up part, and I'm not sure why really, but yeah, that was a big, that was a good one. I had everything on that one.
Federal inmate Israel Keys was found dead in his jail cell of an apparent suicide.
Now these potential victims will never know. Their families will never have closure. And by committing suicide, he says to the world, I'm in control, even to the last second.
He checks all the boxes. His venom, his contempt for other people, the shallowness of his emotions, his grandiosity, lack of empathy, sadism, all of these things. Keys is the real McCoy. If you know, you were to paint a picture of a genuine psychopath, I think Keys fits the bill entirely.